This is 35-year-old cassette player. I found this cassette player in our storeroom. Actually, this cassette player was my dad's, and I want to give this cassette player a new life. Is it really possible in 2024? Let's check this out. This is BPL S7253 cassette player. In this cassette player you will find AM, stereo, FM and SW band. Now I want to run this cassette player to see what problem it actually has. Here you can see the AM, FM and SW band switch is almost in critically condition. I don't know how I fix this switch, even the new on definitely will not be found. To listen a specific radio station, I select any kind of band here, and after that I tune a variable capacitor here. You can see this cassette player can't receive any kind of radio station because I think this variable capacitor is not good, even or another problem. This is volume controlling potentiometer and I am pretty sure this is also not be good. On the other hand, here the cassette player and radio selection switch. So finally I select the cassette player mode and you can see the cassette player make noise but not play anything. See here guys, I am lucky. Here surprisingly I got a cassette to check this whole thing. This is insane, right? So guys, finally I have done many checks. Now let's open it up and see what's inside. Here you can see the driving belt is torn. Also the second driving belt is too loose, which is not enough to drive the second gear. And I pray to God, right now there are no more problem with this mechanical, because I can't find any part of it anywhere. So to make sure, I am going to open up total mechanical and see that everything is correct here. Just changing the belt will fix everything, I think. This is probably called the head, to understand how far the magnetic wave is in the cassette. When a cassette comes in contact with this head, it sends the magnetic field inside the cassette and generate a very small analog signal, which amplify and we hear the sound in the speaker. I have already said a lot about this cassette player mechanism. Anyway, let's take a look at the circuit board of this cassette player. The screw must be removed to remove this cassette player circuit board. And guys, see here, this is the actual marvelous beauty. At first my eye fell on this AM antenna. It's bad, I'm pretty sure it's bad. Even if it is okay, the frequency will change. Anyway, seeing what can I do after a while. Now let's try to understand which IC is used for what kind of purpose. This is the main radio receiver IC. This TA8127N IC is work actually for AM and FM radio receiving purpose. This is Toshiba's IC. On the other hand, here you can see this is the AN7312 IC that management everything in this cassette player, and the job of this IC is to amplify the small analog signal, and that I told you earlier. On the other hand, here you can see this is the last IC, our all favorite TDA2822 audio amplifier IC. Anyway, my first task is now to change this potentiometer. Although I have not found the similar potentiometer here, but still I will change it though. 10K potentiometer is used here. There is no problem in using others. The next important thing is to apply 40D liquid in these switches. This is because all the rust in these switches will be gone. Finger crossed, hope everything will work properly. But I will recheck the switches again with my multimeter because I don't want to be in the dark anyway. Maybe you are thinking there are so many pins on the back of these switches and how do I measure it correctly? It is very simple. It is just to work in this pattern. You may find it easier to understand by looking at the diagram of this paper. Anyway, all the switches are fine and I have nothing to worry about. Now I want to check it again to see if everything is correct so far. So I will add a speaker and power source to it. See, whenever I am switching the radio station, I am not getting still any kind of radio signal here. Why is the radio station not receiving here? So that is why I need to see the datasheet of this IC to understand it much better. See, this is the AM oscillation pin and I believe this pin will have a 700 to 1500 kHz signal. When I connect the oscilloscope to this pin and I am not getting any signal. And see, finally I found that I had AM antenna problem. So I decided to remove this antenna and rebuild this coil. Maybe my resonant frequency will shift around in this process, but I will manage it. I tried as usual to make it right, don't know what will happen. I will solder the wire of the inductor where they were. See here, now 900 kHz frequency is showing on my oscilloscope. Hope everything will work properly at this time. See, this time I was not disappointed. The AM radio station was receiving as well as I had hoped. Since I am tortured with this AM inductor, so I could tune this variable inductor and control the AGC for better radio reception. AGC stands for automatic gain control. I would not go into too much details about it because it is another video subject. By the way, the AM radio problem is now solved, but does FM work on it? Or will it be hard work? Let's see. Since the FM station is far away from my house, that is why I will add an antenna so that can I receive the FM station properly. Anyway guys, I receive at least one FM station here. If you want to make the FM station sound nicer, you can tune this sub capacitor between this variable capacitor. Anyway, we know a lot about the radio. Now the question is how the cassette player works. At last, we saw our driving belt was bad. Luckily, I found this driving belt on Amazon. Link you will find in the description box. And look, the driving belt fit nicely with this mechanism, as I expected. Okay guys, now let's play this cassette.
Mother, right from the moment of his birth.
And guys, see, the cassette playing brilliantly without any issue.
So he lives without fear. The idea of God as mother dates right to the Vedic age in the religious history of these.
You can increase and decrease the RPM of your cassette if you wish by tuning this potentiometer on this motor. Anyway, so far everything in our radio is working properly and my expectations have been met. Now I can gift it to my mother. Okay guys, anyway, let's set everything as before.
Has been sung in 700 verses. It's called Shri Shri Chondi or Shri Durga Shaptashoti. Here, the story has been completed in 13 chapters using dialogue of different characters after being divided into 3 main cantos.